Have you noticed your old golden retriever sometimes looks lost in familiar rooms, as if the house suddenly changed around him? A senior golden retriever carries a large sturdy body, honey golden feathered coat, white muzzle, soft ears, and warm brown eyes. Many owners assume aging only slows the body, yet early cognitive decline first changes how the world feels inside. The dog is not becoming stubborn, dramatic, or distant on purpose, the mind is losing certainty. Familiar routines may begin feeling less predictable, and small confusions can create surprisingly deep emotional stress. At first, those changes are easy to miss because they arrive quietly, inside ordinary moments. Your golden may pause longer at doorways, stare into corners, or hesitate before following simple daily patterns. These early signs often look small, yet they reveal a brain working harder to understand familiar life. One of the first psychological changes is mild disorientation, especially during transitions between rooms, routines, and times of day. The dog may enter the hallway, stop suddenly, and seem unsure why he came there. That pause is not laziness, it can feel like a brief break in the map. A once confident golden may begin checking the house more slowly, as if verifying safety over and over. When orientation weakens, confidence often weakens with it, and the dog becomes more emotionally dependent on routine. Even familiar furniture, shadows, and doorways can feel less certain when memory links stop joining smoothly. Another common change is delayed recognition, where the dog knows you, but needs longer to place the moment. He may look at you blankly for 1 second before warmth returns and the tail finally moves. To owners, that delay can feel heartbreaking, because the pause seems colder than the dog truly is. Inside the dog, it may feel more like slow processing than lost love. Cognitive decline also changes emotional recovery, so mild stress can last longer after the trigger disappears. A sound outside, a moved chair, or a changed routine may unsettle the dog for minutes. Younger dogs often reset quickly, but senior cognitive change makes emotional settling slower and less complete. This is why some older Goldens seem more fragile, even when the house remains gentle and familiar. Nighttime often makes these changes clearer, because darkness reduces visual certainty and increases mental effort. A Golden who seemed calm all afternoon may begin pacing after sunset without understanding why rest feels harder. Sleep-wake rhythm commonly shifts as cognitive decline begins, and that alone changes the dog's whole emotional balance. The dog may nap more during daylight, then wake confused when the house grows quiet at night. Some seniors wander from room to room, not searching for anything obvious, but struggling to settle fully. Others stand by the wrong side of a door, waiting for help yet unsure what help they need. This can create rising anxiety, because tiredness and confusion begin feeding each other in the same loop. The more tired the brain becomes, the less easily it understands the environment around it. House soiling may also change the dog's psychology long before owners realize memory is involved. A Golden who always understood the home may suddenly seem ashamed, confused, or startled after an indoor accident. The dog often does not look defiant, he looks surprised that his own body and routine slipped apart. That surprise matters, because it can create hesitancy and loss of trust in familiar bodily signals. Some seniors begin asking to go out less clearly, not because they stopped caring, but because timing feels harder. Others forget the route, stand at the wrong door, or lose confidence halfway through the sequence. When owners scold these accidents, the dog's confusion often turns into deeper anxiety and social withdrawal. Gentle support works better, because the dog already feels less certain than he once did. Social behavior can change too, sometimes making a Golden more clingy, and sometimes making him quietly withdraw. Clinginess often grows when the owner becomes the dog's strongest remaining point of certainty in a blurry world. The dog may follow from room to room, not from neediness alone, but from emotional anchoring. If the mind trusts you more than the environment, your movement becomes the map. Withdrawal can happen for the opposite reason, when processing social life starts feeling heavier than before. A dog who once greeted happily may choose distance simply because interaction now requires more mental effort. This does not always mean sadness in the human sense, sometimes it means cognitive fatigue. The dog still loves the family, but cannot organize attention and response as smoothly as before. Sensitivity to change often rises sharply, even when the change looks tiny to the people living nearby. A moved dog bed, visiting relatives, different feeding time, or louder evening can suddenly feel destabilizing. Cognitive decline weakens prediction, and prediction is one of the main things that makes life feel safe. When prediction weakens, the dog begins relying more heavily on sameness, repetition, and physical guidance. This is why familiar routines become emotionally protective, not merely convenient for older dogs. Repetition tells the brain what comes next when memory can no longer do that reliably alone. Some seniors also begin getting stuck behind furniture, beside walls, or near corners more often. From the outside, this looks odd, but inside the dog it may feel like the path disappeared. A golden may stare at a narrow space, hesitate, and wait because movement planning suddenly feels uncertain. Those moments can create visible helplessness, especially in a breed that once moved confidently through family life. Startle responses often change as well, because confusion reduces the brain's ability to prepare calmly. A dropped object, unexpected touch, or waking from sleep may trigger stronger surprise than it once did. The dog is not becoming irritable without reason, the world is arriving with less warning inside his mind. That can make some seniors bark more, flinch more, or retreat sooner from normal household events. Vocal changes may also appear, especially nighttime barking, not always from demand, but from uncertainty and isolation. The dog may call out because the room feels wrong, the light changed, or rest no longer feels secure. In those moments, your voice can matter more than commands, because recognition and reassurance may be the real need. A calm familiar response often helps better than repeating cues the confused brain cannot process quickly. Appetite and interest in food may change emotionally too, even if the dog still loves eating. Some seniors become slower at starting meals because the transition into the routine feels mentally less automatic. Others forget where the bowl is, stop midway, or seem distracted by sounds that never mattered before. Food becomes less simple when attention, orientation, and sensory confidence all begin weakening together. Play behavior usually changes as well, though not always by disappearing completely. A cognitively aging golden may still want affection and toys, but engage in shorter, less organized bursts. The dog may pick up a toy, then pause as if he forgot the next part. That small hesitation often reflects processing loss, not lack of joy or connection to the family. Interaction with other dogs can also shift, especially if the senior feels less predictable in crowded moments. Some older Goldens become more patient and passive, while others become shorter in tolerance when confused. When cognitive decline lowers confidence, the dog may prefer more space and less social complexity than before. Signals can become slower too, which makes misunderstandings with younger dogs slightly more likely. This is why protected quiet time matters more as the mind begins losing its old flexibility. The senior dog is not antisocial, he is simply carrying less mental space for fast negotiation. Owners often notice staring episodes, where the Golden seems absent while looking at walls, doors, or open space. These moments may last only seconds, yet they reveal how attention can drift without clear purpose. The dog is not necessarily hallucinating, sometimes he is simply struggling to reconnect thought with place. Even brief disconnection can leave lingering emotional unease once awareness returns. Over time, many seniors become more dependent on scent, touch, and familiar voice than on fast visual interpretation. This is why gentle contact, consistent routes, and calm speech often help more than repeated verbal correction. The mind may forget quickly, but the nervous system still responds to safety and familiarity. That is an important emotional truth, because cognitive decline changes memory faster than it changes attachment. Your Golden may forget a sequence, a doorway, or the reason he entered the kitchen. Yet he can still feel that your presence is safe, your voice is known, and your routine is calming. This is why emotional care becomes just as important as practical care once cognitive decline begins. The dog needs less testing, less pressure, and more guidance through moments that once required none. Better support often means clearer lighting, easier navigation, shorter routes, and more predictable daily timing. It also means waking gently, touching thoughtfully, and not assuming confusion is disobedience. Many dogs become less distressed when owners stop demanding old performance from a changing brain. Instead of asking for perfect memory, the family begins offering more cues the body can still trust. Shorter toilet trips, visible water bowls, familiar resting places, and slower transitions all reduce emotional load. Even tiny environmental adjustments can restore surprising amounts of confidence to an old dog. Another quiet change is grief-like restlessness, where the dog seems to miss something he cannot identify clearly. The home feels familiar enough to remember emotionally, but not clear enough to understand completely anymore. That mismatch can produce pacing, searching, soft whining, or following behavior that feels deeply poignant. The dog is not asking philosophical questions, he is trying to refine certainty inside a slipping map. This is why compassion matters so much, because frustration from humans adds pressure to an already tiring mental world. A confused golden usually benefits more from reassurance, routine, and softer pacing than from repeated correction. As decline continues, the dog may spend more time near you simply because your presence feels easiest to read. In a changing mind, love often becomes less elaborate and more essential, almost like a steady light. The old golden may no longer move through life with youthful certainty, but he still orients toward trust. He may forget the route, yet remember the feeling of being helped along it. He may hesitate at the door, yet relax when your hand and voice arrive together. He may wake at night confused, yet settle when the room smells like home and you sound familiar. So cognitive decline changes a dog's psychology by making the world less clear and relationships more important. It increases uncertainty, slows recovery, weakens prediction, and turns routine into emotional protection. But it also reveals something tender: even when memory thins, trust can remain beautifully strong. And in that softer final chapter, your golden often needs not perfect treatment, but gentle certainty to lean on.